There we go. Recorder's on. Good morning again, everybody. Today's date is, what is it? Thursday, May 2nd, 2024. For those who don't know, my name is Rick, and I want to welcome everybody here that's in the room to the Hit Run Candlesticks trading room. All right. Look, let's have a simple, straightforward talk about the market, okay? The market is a mess. Make no mistake of it. There are long charts to be traded. They're out there. And there's short charts to be traded. They're out there. If you have if you ever put any weight in the market, meaning the SPY, maybe the diamonds, maybe the Qs, maybe IWM, whatever you may follow, you just look at those, and that is probably more bearish than bullish. I don't know how anybody can come up with a bullish scenario here in the SPY. It's a bearish scenario. So again, there are still bullish trades out there to trade. So what I would say is be very picky about what you trade long. Be very, very picky. So if you're thinking to yourself, what's picky right now, then you should not trade long charts, okay? Really, let's have a very serious talk about the market right now. If you don't know what picky is for you, you shouldn't trade long charts. If you are a bit fuzzy on shorting, don't short. Look, cash is a position. There are times to step out of this market. There are times not to be in the market. All right. What are those times? Well, if you take a look at your account and you find that you've not made any money the past week or two, maybe even 3 weeks, and what I mean is you may have made money, you may have lost some money, but what was your account worth? Let's see, let's do this. Back that up, blue. What was your account worth over here? What was your account worth right there? What's your account worth today? What's it worth? Sorry, my mouse is goofy. What's your account worth today? So just what was it worth there? What's it worth today? And if basically if your account has gone down, maybe you should put a plug in trading for a few days. Just maybe, okay? Just pump the brakes, pause a little bit, let things settle out. They really will settle out. The market rarely acts like this for a very long time because the big money can't stand it. They cannot stand it. So they will solve the problem. You and I, retail traders, we cannot solve the problem. Let them solve it. And they will. They will. Promise you that. All right. So as I'm looking at this market, right now what I'm going to go with is about 500 till about 510.50. Basically the 50 period moving average up here. Okay. Basically that. Looking at this high, that doji high up there, which is just slightly under the 50, but we're going to use the 50. Everything in this area right here, you're just asking for trouble. Some traders are going to make money, some traders are not. Again, I ask you, what was your account worth here, and what's it worth today? That's a simple way to look at it. If your account is worth more today, well, then you've been doing it right, keep doing it. If your account is worth less here than it was over here, put a plug in it, okay? Just something to think about, Okay, there are definitely long charts out there. Honestly, yeah, I'm going to look at a few, not necessarily chart setups. I probably had, yesterday afternoon and last night before I shut everything down, 9 or 10 messages from people, asking about charts. The number one chart was UNG. I had 3 people in their email, one through a private message, ask about, is it time to start buying UNG? For me personally, the answer is no. But for somebody else, it might be yes. So here's, this is where we really need to step up a little bit. We need to decide what we like as trading. And if you like bottom picking, hey, look, I'm not for that. Everybody here knows that. I'm kind of against that. But if you find, there's some things I can't argue with, okay? Look at that bottom. It appears to be support. It appears to be. So if you think this is the time to buy it, then you buy UNG, you put your stop in, and then what you're going to do is you're going to watch it pretty much every minute, and that's what you want. Pretty simple. Trading's not hard, okay? Now, like I said, I don't think it's a buy. You put your stop in, whether it's right here, you move your stop up somewhere in here, you have your stop. So you have to decide. Now, where would I maybe consider UNG? I would maybe consider UNG if it starts to break out. Now, a couple of things that, I'm going to have to go way up here. Couple of things about the way I'm going to look at a chart. Doesn't mean it's right, doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means it's me, okay? I am personally willing to give up. I'm willing to give you this trade right here. If you want that trade, let me make that bigger. If you want that trade, you go ahead and take it. If you think that's what it's going to do. I'm willing to give it up. Because what I want is to get out of this construction zone, the dumpster basically. I want us to break out, and it will set up. There is not a fiber in my body that thinks that we will not get an opportunity to buy this. If it breaks out, you will get the opportunity to buy it. Again, I'm willing to give that up. Okay? So, what kind of trader are you? Are you the bottom picker? And if you're making money with it, there's nothing wrong with it. If you're not making money with it, buy some gloves, because you're in the bottom of a dumpster, and that's nasty. That is absolutely nasty place to be. Okay? So, the other one are the two heavy hitters, I guess, that I get asked a lot about. Tesla's one of them, all right? Because I have made mention, I'm in the market to buy Tesla long. I am right now, but I'm not buying it. And the reason I'm not buying it is because it hasn't set up to what I want. Because I make a statement, I'm in the market to buy it long, doesn't mean I'm looking for it right here. So a chart or a company like Tesla, let's look at the weekly. Clearly, Tesla can get up here in some big numbers. We all know the power of Tesla. Tesla can grow. Tesla can get there. So I'm not worried about playing around where it's hard to trade. Where it's hard to trade there, okay? So I'm going to wait for this setup. Now, I have to admit, the gap kind of screwed things up. I think it did. I would rather it just came up on a normal little movement, made a nice little chart pattern. Now, it needs to digest the gap. So for now, I'm going to put my number somewhere around the 201 area. So once we move up over that and set up, that's what I'm going to look at. Now, I may change that number, but it depends how the gap is taken in and what's happened with it. Good point, Emma. Emma says, one man's junk is another man's treasure. Please keep in mind, this is coming from a person that does not mind buying charts beat down and willing to hold it for a long time, okay? So Emma has an absolute point there. Charts that are beat down like that UNG, it could be, what I consider junk could be another person's treasure. And if somebody was to buy this, right now, and you see the same thing I see, possible stop right here or possible place, you're going to risk about 3%. And if you're willing to hold that and willing to live with that stop, hey, go for it. And there could be a day, I don't know when the day is. I don't know that anybody really knows that. But there could be a day, could be tomorrow, could be today, could be 6 months from now. This thing starts to take off and rock. Well, here you have it down here, and you've put your protective stop on it. But see, that's not my game. I'm not going to hold it for 6 months or 6 weeks. I'm not going to hold this thing for 6 days. So you're right, Emma. One man's junk is another man's treasure. Just think about how you trade, though. That's the important thing. Apple was the other one that I asked a lot about, which I get asked about this all the time, Apple. Apple, to me, is not a buy, and that was the question, when will it be a buy? Well, let's go back to what Emma said. One man's junk is another man's treasure. Very true statement. This could be a buy for some people. You just have to decide that that's your trade. It's not my trade, all right? It's not my trade. I look at this chart, and what I see right now is a chart that's just constructing a bottom. I don't want the bottom. I don't want the bottom of the dumpster. It's nasty. I don't want it. So I want Apple to break out. Now, I know what happens. I've been there. I've done this. But jeepers, I'm going to miss the possibility of all this money. Well, I'm also going to miss this rat race with a garbage chart. So choose what you want. Do you want to try to get this money, or do you want to miss this nightmare through here? I'd rather miss the nightmare. And also keep in mind that Apple has earnings, so watch that. But Apple's another one. Can Apple be a $300 stock? Of course it can. We all know that. Can it be a $200? Sure, easy. So I'll wait for it to create that bottom down there and move up. Also, too, as I look at some of these charts like Tesla and Apple, don't forget what the market is doing. The market is leaning bearish. Let's look at T2123. Here's a 60-minute chart where we closed yesterday. Nothing about that is bullish. 15-minute chart, it tried but gave it up. We need bullishness in here for that bull, okay? So let's take a look at net. It's up on the scanner here. So net, would it be wise to be long or short on net? I think it'd be wise to wait for more information. You have a low. Let me draw it. You have a low, you have a high, you have a higher low, you have a higher high, and you actually have a higher low. Price is above the T-line. Pre-market, I don't worry about too much. So maybe that's a buy for somebody. But let's not forget to look at the resistance that's rolling in here. Let's not forget the trend that's down. And let's not forget that the market is against you. Alrighty? Let's look at Procter & Gamble. This is what I would call a good setup for the long side. The trend is up. Overall, you look at that trend, it's up. We can look at the weekly chart. Look at that trend. That's the kind of chart I want to keep an eye on. Let's take a look at SFM. If we're looking long, okay? Look at SFM. That just reeks of beauty. But it's not down here in the dumpster, is it? That's what's going to give us trouble until the market turns around. When the market turns around and becomes bullish, dumpster diving just might be a good place to take a look at some good charts. But not until the market turns around. In the meantime, if the market is going to be choppy and sloppy, then go for some quality charts. That's what I would call a very quality chart. Beautiful trend. Bulls are moving it up. No radical moves. Very simple, very easy. Thanks, Neil. Nice chart. Okay. So think about your trading. You know, you only have so much money in your account. You only have so much. Most people, when you take your account and you shrink it down to the size of a peanut, most people can't grow it back. Most people can't do that. Some people can. And when I say grow it back, what you do is you fund it again. And most people can't fund their account again. So be careful with trading. Take some time off if you need to. Pump the brakes a little bit. Things like that. And again, I don't think it's going to be very long. I think the market is going to make a decision. So the decision I would want is to get below this 500, show me a short, and then we've got the 200s down here to shoot for. Shorting, big money can be made in shorting. There's nothing wrong with it. And if you don't like to short, take a look at the inverse ETFs. They'll rock your world. For the long side, we need to be above this 510.60 here, okay? All right, we'll see everybody at the bottom of the hour here when the market opens up. Thanks again for listening to me preach a little bit. Number one thing in trading is protect your capital. Number two thing in trading, go back to number one, all right? See everybody in about 25 minutes.